Pure heartbreak for the Ohio State Buckeyes and pure jubilation for the Michigan Wolverines. Like many of you guys, my eyes were glued to the big game the past few hours, and what a historic day for Michigan. I'm going to make a video explaining both sides, and in the first video, we're going to talk about what this means for Michigan. I'm going to talk about how this happened, what this means for the Wolverines moving forward, and just my overall thoughts on the game. But right before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. You're going to love the consistent college football content, and also don't forget to hit that like button and turn on post notifications. Now let's talk about Michigan. Going into this year, there was no chance that this would happen. I mean, could you honestly blame anyone for picking Ohio State to win this matchup? In fact, Michigan did not even start the year ranked. In my eyes, I thought they were going to end up going 8-4, and I was definitely wrong. They started out with wins over Western Michigan and Washington, and that's when they first moved into the polls. They beat Northern Illinois, struggled to a degree against Rutgers, and then went on the road and beat Wisconsin. That's when I knew this Michigan team was a little bit different, and despite Graham Mertz being hurt in that game, and we had not yet seen the rise of Braylon Allen, that was still a huge win. They showed a lot of grit in that road win over Nebraska, and then the following week they killed Northwestern. They were number 6 for a massive matchup on the road against number 8 Michigan State, and I thought this game was going to determine Michigan's season. Michigan played pretty well, but as we saw, Kenneth Walker had 5 touchdowns and led Michigan State to a huge win that night. Little did we know, a different Michigan running back would have a chance to have 5 touchdowns later on. We'll get to that later. From there, Michigan destroyed Indiana, took care of Penn State in a thriller, and then killed Maryland. The team was 10-1 going into today's big game, and like many, I assumed Ohio State would win. While being 100% honest, I was rooting for Michigan in this game, and I was hoping the upset would happen. I didn't think it would. CJ Stroud has been playing incredible lately, Ohio State's wide receiver core is unbelievable, and with the way they just dismantled Michigan State, I thought there was no way that Ohio State would come out flat. I saw weird rumors on Reddit that CJ Stroud and Ronnie Hickman were sick, but those were later debunked, and I thought Ohio State would roll in, set the tone early, and win. It ended up being different. Michigan got off to an early start, and they almost went up 14-0 before a Cade McNamara interception. From there, we saw the Michigan offensive line play incredible, we saw Ohio State have a couple drops, and Haskins put the team on his back. How good was Haskins? Well, he ran the ball 28 times for 169 yards and 5 touchdowns, and what a special way for this senior to go out. Many of you guys probably don't know Haskins' story, but he was lightly recruited coming out of St. Louis. He was only a 3-star recruit, and not a lot of programs thought he was good enough to be a starting running back. Well, Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines took a chance on him, and Haskins has been spectacular for them over the last few years. So far this year, he's rushed for over 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns, and in the entirety of his Michigan career, he's rushed for over 2,000 yards and 23 touchdowns. I do believe he'll have an opportunity to play in the NFL, but for now, he will go down as a legend in the Michigan football books. I am really happy for Jim Harbaugh. I know a lot of people love to make fun of him and his khakis and him always losing to Ohio State, but this is a huge win for him, and that cannot be undervalued. The look on his face when he won that game made me extremely happy, and while Ohio State fans hate his guts, this is definitely one of the best moments of his life and in his coaching time. He finally got that win, and I think it's safe to say his job is going to be safe for a little while. In terms of Michigan themselves, a lot of Michigan fans were undecided on how they felt about Cade McNamara, but he has done everything they have needed for them to win games this year, and I pat him on the back for beating out a graduate transfer and a highly regarded 5-star freshman. JJ McCarthy settled into his role, and I know he had a couple big plays today, and the wide receiver room, offensive line, and defense all just stepped up. Ohio State made so many unbelievable catches, which just goes to show you how talented that wide receiver room is, but at the end of the day, they could not get the job done. Michigan's offensive line controlled the game, and now the Wolverines have both won the Big Ten East and have a chance to go to the college football playoff. For us college football fans who don't have loyalty to a blue blood, this is becoming a dream-like season. Clemson is not going to get in. If Alabama loses to Auburn or Georgia, they're not going to get in, and now Ohio State's not getting in. This opens the door for Michigan to claim a spot, and it also helps Cincinnati get in. I know Ohio State fans don't want to hear it, and they're obviously and rightfully salty about today's result, but I think everyone in college football will be happy to see them not in the playoff bracket this January. It's really been a team effort for Michigan this year, and now they're either going to play Wisconsin or Iowa. Honestly, if you're a Wolverines fan, you are rooting hard for Minnesota, because I'm a lot more terrified of Wisconsin and Braylon Allen than I am of Iowa. Spencer Petras can't move, the offense can't pass, and they've looked very vulnerable at times this year. Wisconsin, on the other hand, has been playing really well lately. They have an absolute phenom at running back in Braylon Allen, and that offensive line and defense is always going to be great for them. We will have to wait and see what happens though, but as of right now, I am just so happy for Michigan football. I'm happy for the sport in general, and that game was an awesome atmosphere. It is snowing in both East Lansing and in Ann Arbor, and it just adds to the feels and is making this college football weekend incredibly special. For Jim Harbaugh, it's been a really difficult couple years against Ohio State. We saw in year one, Ohio State won 42-13, and the game was not competitive. In 2016, Michigan had their miracle season, where unfortunately they lost to Iowa, but they had an opportunity to win the Big Ten and go to the college football playoff. And as we all know, there was a controversial 4th and 1 conversion for JT Barrett, and we'll never know if he got it or not, but it did give Ohio State the first down, and they ended up going down the field on the next play by way of a Curtis Samuel touchdown and won 30-27. This was the closest that he had ever gotten, as in 2017, the Wolverines lost 31-20. In 2018, we had the revenge tour, but unfortunately that ended in a 62-39 loss. And then in 2019, Ohio State once again blitzed Michigan 56-27. Last year the game was canceled, and then this year, as we obviously know, Michigan was a top 10 team, and now they have finally done it. Harbaugh has gotten more crap than any coach I've ever seen about not beating their rival, and honestly, he did deserve it. Now he can finally silence everyone, and Michigan football can continue their road to the playoff and their miracle season. And this is great for college football as a whole. This is one of the most happy and sad days of the year for college football fans, as we usually have some of the best games and some of the best vibes, but it's the last regular season weekend. The reason people get sad about that is because of how lopsided the playoff has become. A lot of these bowls really don't matter, and the playoff has just become a lot of blowouts between blue bloods. Michigan winning this game changes everything, and hopefully with all the conference realignment and the playoff expanding, college football postseason will become amazing again. But as of right now, thank you Michigan for making this year different and eliminating Ohio State from getting in. This is not me taking shots at Ohio State, but as someone who covers the sport for a living, I just want to see something different, and thank you Michigan for making that happen. What do you guys think though? If you're a Michigan fan, how happy are you about today's result? Do you guys think you're going to end up making the playoff? And how has this season gone so well for you? I want to do a video on the rise of Michigan football, so be sure to let me know some of the details I'm not going to find in the articles, and your take on why they have been so good this year. Please let me know down in the comment section. Hit that like button if you want to support today's video, and check out all my other videos on the end screen, including my video about 5-star quarterback Dylan McCaffrey and what happened to him. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.